Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Frights Blah. I can't even talk. Friday, September 22nd of 2023. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I don't even know what I was about to say just now. It's early in the morning. Past 2 days, I actually got this out earlier, but today kind of went right back into what my normal groove was, which was making this before, or making this in the morning. Anyways, y'all didn't come to hear me ramble about stuff like that. Y'all came here because y'all wanted the astrology forecast for today. That is what I'm going to deliver. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful week so far. It is Friday, getting ready for the weekend, so we are almost there. And the general consensus this week, everyone I talked to, is that it seems like it's been a good week. It's just been long. It's been a long week. You know what I mean? So, and I think it's because, we had some major things happen this week, but we also had several days of like not really a whole lot going on major wise. So it's like, I think it's almost like we're used to just like legendary event after legendary event after historic event after historic event. Like we're living through history right now. I think we're just so used to just being like historical event after historical event after historical event that when it's like a regular normal day, it's almost like it almost puts people in a daze like isn't something supposed to happen? Like, that's what it kind of feels like. So, anyways, so we start the day with that moon in Sagittarius. It is in Swagitarius, right? It does make a nice little trine over to the North Node today. So that's cool. And it does sextile the South Node. And of course, this moon in Sagittarius, like I said, it had its moments and periods where it was, squaring this. Oh, I didn't even put that in the freaking little thing at the bottom. That's going to be squaring Neptune today. So, like I said, there are moments where it is like positive, it's jovial, and then there's moments where we get like this sort of check from reality. So this moon is going to be trining the North Node today, while it's also squaring Neptune. I'm surprised I didn't put that in the little ticker at the bottom. But the moon moves fast, right? It only spends like a couple hours at a particular degree. That being said, the fact that the day like starts off with this kind of stamped with this sort of energy is overall pretty positive, right? Trying over to the North Node, the moon, of course, wanting us to, feel good, really believe in ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And of course, that North Node, like I said, being in Aries, this really is about believing in yourself, believing that you are the hero of your own story, believing that you have the capability and the power to really do anything in your life, right? But of course, it does square Neptune at the same time. Now, of course, with this energy, we got to think that the ruler of the moon, which is Jupiter, which is dispositing it, Jupiter is technically dispositing this Neptune as well, because Jupiter was the traditional ruler of Neptune. So there's an interesting energy here where this square, I wouldn't say it's the worst square in the world. Both of these signs have to deal with beliefs in many ways. So this is going to be more so like, we absolutely can believe in ourselves. The square to Neptune is, especially with the sun that's coming off of that opposition to Neptune, the square to Neptune is really kind of like, it's kind of waking us up in many ways. Like I said, Neptune retrograde means that he's actually awake, right? So, or he's like lucid dreaming, if you will. So, this is like a moment where we can kind of almost like become like aware of the dream. We can become like aware of, okay, wow, so this world really is magical, and there's this thing where it's like, all right, well, what do I believe in? Am I going to believe in the narratives of the day? We also remember with Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, this is like the media too. So it's like, am I going to believe everything that's put out into the media? Am I going to just take things that I see as fact? This is like the weird thing about it. And this is also part of the meditation for today, which I will go ahead and actually talk about, because I think it's important, because it says truth survives our skepticism. And today may be a day where we we may actually start to feel a little skeptic about certain things. Mainly, like I said, because since things like it doesn't really feel like a whole lot of historical things are happening right now. That's just because they're not really showing it to you guys. So let me get to okay, yeah. So the truth survives our skepticism, but we cannot say the same about lies. Lies can only survive if we believe them. Truth is still the truth, whether or not we believe in it. That is the beauty of the truth. So I think that the reason why I put that is because we are getting, in many ways, we do have a bit of a T square today with the moon and these high degrees of Sagittarius, and it's also, of course, squaring Neptune, and it will square the sun today. So we have like this mutable T cross, if you will, and this has everything to do with with Sagittarius energy, so belief, Pisces energy, which is also belief, and then you have the Sun in Virgo, which of course, is about service to others, service to humanity, how we organize things. There's no Gemini energy here, though, and Gemini will tell the truth regardless if it's accepted or not. And people won't take Gemini like seriously because everyone's like, "Oh, Gemini, you're just the comedian of the zodiac." So, and of course, you have the ruler of Gemini here in Virgo as well. This is definitely a interesting day where you want to just, you know, we can be skeptic about the truth. We can be like, "Oh, wait, that's not actually what's going on. That's not actually what's happening." Are we going to turn a blind eye purposefully from realities, the reality of our shifting world, the reality of, you know, our day-to-day life is about to change forever in many ways? There's a lot of things right now that are being done quietly, but yet because we have the internet, it can be in our face, but we can still choose to not look at it. That's the weird thing about it. Before the internet, it was you could easily defraud the public. You can easily, gaslight the public because you controlled, like, the media outlets were so much more narrow back then, and everyone was focused on those particular things. So it was a little bit easier to push propaganda on people, right? Now with the internet, that's why things seem so crazy. It's not like people haven't had propaganda pushed on them even before the internet, right? It's happened, right? So it's like it's not like these things haven't happened before. The difference and why it feels like it's so much crazier now is that because we have so many different media outlets right now, you can curate in many ways what you tune into, what you pay attention to, what you allow to entertain you, right? Since you can curate it a lot more, that means that the lies, the deception can be cranked up to such a high amount that it's like it has to like that's the way it gets the attention, because now that your attention can go to many other places instead of just a select few, the lies have to be cranked up, the deception has to be cranked up, so it can be so magnetizing that you have no choice but to look at it. But you can still choose what you tune into, and a lot of people choose to not look at the ugly truths of reality, probably because it challenges their beliefs, right? So you're going to see this moon today hit 29 degrees of Sagittarius and square the sun. Talk about a first quarter square. Like, this is pretty intense. Having happening at 29 degrees, this is the last full day of the sun being in Virgo. We're about to come into the autumnal equinox, right? So, a vernal equinox if you're in the south, right? So, or like in the southern hemisphere. So we get this T square, if you will. And I'm saying it's a T square because even though these are within 3 degrees of each other, the fact that the sun is involved and the moon is involved, it amplifies this energy, right? So the T square, you're going to feel it for the better part of the day, right? Let's see, the moon is let's see. Yeah, it starts to square Neptune here at 9:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it won't square the sun fully until 3:39 p.m. So you're going to feel this for the better part of the day as this builds up. This is definitely one of these moments where it's like, you know what? This is going to be questioning our beliefs in many ways. We may have believed certain things for such a long time, but now that we are becoming more lucid within the dream of reality, we're waking up to these things. We're about to come into an equinox, right? Pluto is back at 27 degrees of Capricorn, which is America's, Pluto. So we got the second pass of the Pluto return that, America is experiencing. This is definitely a moment right now where, and I think the powers that be, they, as they would say in South Park, I think they know that, this is a time where things are very, very shifty, and it feels like things are collapsing, but in slow motion. Or if anything, it already happened, and we just have like these goggles on that's trying to like it's like flashbacks from the past. But that's the thing. Are we going to turn a blind eye to things that we know are ending, that we know are trying to defraud us, to lie to us, that are trying to deceive us, just because it doesn't look good, just because it doesn't taste good, just because it doesn't smell good, it doesn't feel good? Yeah, of course. Like the financial systems are changing forever right now. Like, and a lot of it, like I said, is being swept under the rug. We're probably about to have a government shutdown here in America. You have the UK passing insane laws are going to be encroaching even more on people's privacy. There's a lot of things that are going on right now. And not only that, but we haven't really heard much about this Ukraine-Russia war. Nothing major has come up in the news as of lately. So that's eerily quiet. So something's probably about to spark off with that too, especially since we're coming into eclipse season, right? So we still have a little bit before then, but we are about to get there. So this is a day where, like I said, you kind of don't. It's kind of like last weekend. You don't necessarily want to jump the gun right now, but what's going to happen is that little tidbits throughout the day and stuff like that, little things are going to start to challenge your beliefs. Your beliefs are going to be kind of put on the chopping block, held under a magnifying glass. And this moon in Sagittarius squaring a sun in Virgo, squaring a Neptune retrograde in Pisces, is really going to ask us, you know, about the truth, ultimately. It's one thing to believe something. What is the truth? And we may be skeptical about something. We may look at them like, I don't know about that. Are you sure? The truth will survive our skepticism. The truth will come out. It's like how I said in it was like, I think it was my most recent astrology forecast and stuff. Is that like this is a time? No, not an astrology forecast. This was in the Russell Brand Matrix Attack video that I made last night. This is a time where if the more that you try and hide things, the more that you try and keep things in the dark, the harder the struggle is going to be when that thing finally comes to the light. The harder the struggle is going to be. Why? Because it's like, this is going to be a weird example, but these lies, think of them as cockroaches, right? And they've been hiding underneath something for the longest time. You lift them, and then it turns out that these cockroaches are white. Have you ever seen a white cockroach? It's very weird because they're like hidden from the sun. They don't have any pigment. They don't have any melanin. So it's like you lift them, and then suddenly these white cockroaches just scatter, right? The thing about this though is that like The hiding places, they're going to be fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer hiding places. So that when God lifts up this esoteric couch and things start to scurry because now they're exposed and they're sensitive, right? And they're vulnerable, these lies are going to start getting stamped out one by one by one, and they're not going to have as many more. They're not going to have as many hiding places. The hiding places in the universe are disappearing, and there are positive aspects to this. You see the negative aspects to it. One manifestation of hiding places going away is a lot of the encroachments on privacy, right? A lot of the encroachments on privacy. That's sort of like the negative, aspect of it. But that's another way how it's manifesting, right? So it's going to be harder to hide things, but that's what's going to happen anyways because we have much more than just five senses. So what do you think telephones do? What do you think these are? These are training devices for us to learn how to speak to each other telepathically. You ever thought about someone and then they called you? You know what I mean? Or you ever call someone and they're like, I was just thinking about you. Telepathy. These are training devices for telepathy, right? So that's the thing about this. We are awakening so many more senses than we realize, right? And that's part of the Jupiter and Uranus here in Taurus, because Taurus does rule the five senses, but we were always meant to go beyond the five senses, right? If Taurus is the five senses, and we go beyond the five senses, you still got Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, etc., right? So the truth will always survive our skepticism and the lies that we choose to believe. The lies that we choose to believe. But a lie will disappear the moment that you stop believing in it. That is pretty much what's going on with today's energy. It's like, are you choosing to believe in lies right now? Are you choosing to purposefully create because we all are entertained by things. We all watch things now. We all, unless you're just like out in the, like, just homesteading in the middle of the woods or something like that. But even they are able to have it's even homesteading nowadays compared to what it would have been like 100 years ago. It's so much more different. They still have radios. They still have little TVs. Some of these people have YouTube channels, and they're out in the middle of nowhere. So that's the thing. So it's like you're still in many ways connected. So we all have different things that we watch, that we tune into, that we pay attention to, right? We live in a time where now we can curate what we tune into and have a lot more customizable, options, right? Whereas before, everyone was pretty much pushed into a certain zone, right? So these few outlets got all this traffic. Now it's a lot more spread out, right? It's a lot more spread out. Because a lot more spread out, the dominant, I guess, cities, like media cities where the traffic is going to, now they have to be extra flashy and extra colorful and extra magnetizing so you can come to it. But are you going to fall for all of the extraness, the superfluous of it? Are you going to fall for all of that? Because what's behind the curtain? Just because it's very flashy and has all these bright lights, does that mean that there's truth to it? Maybe there's I'm sure there's some truth in there, but does that mean that it is of integrity? Is it aligned with the spiritual mission of humanity? That is to be foreseen. And it probably isn't. If it's having to be super, super extra, right? That moon does move into Capricorn today as well, in the early evening, if you will. And, by the, it's going to sextile over to Saturn, of course, right? Which, of course, moon probably rather be where Saturn is, and Saturn probably rather be where the moon is. So you got some nice little reception here. But this 1 degree, like I said, it's definitely going to come down to like after the moon deals with the stress from Neptune and deals with the stress from the sun in the first quarter square coming into Capricorn. It's going to have a bit. It's almost like you don't even get that sigh of relief because then even though it's a sextile to Saturn, it's still like, okay, well, yeah, you have the opportunity to make this dream happen, but are you prepared for the hard work? You're like, come on, man. I just went through squares. I just had my beliefs challenged. I just had this gaslight attempt on me, right? And I had to like have the strength to just follow the truth. Even though I may be skeptical about things, I have to just follow the truth. And that's not going to be necessarily easy for people, right? Especially with a freaking Mars in Libra that's in opposition to Chiron, it's building, right? At least we have Venus trining Chiron today, right? But if you didn't learn the lessons of the Venus retrograde, it's going to put stress on the Mars opposition to Chiron, where we may start acting out of character, or we may be acting in a way where it puts our wounds on display. And instead of talking about how we've healed from certain things and how it has empowered us, we just become another victim, right? So don't become another victim, right? Don't become another victim. Well, Jay, I've been lied to, I've been cheated, I've been this, I've had this happen to me. We all have. And I'm not belittling anything that anyone's going through. All I'm saying is that the more that you put those wounds on display, the more you let it fester and maggots start to get into there, it's like, so we're getting to a point now where God is lifting the esoteric couch, and we are not having, and the hiding places of where we could scurry to are becoming less and less and less. And every single one of us is going to receive this boot of God, if you will. But that doesn't mean that this boot of God is going to kill us. But what it is going to kill is the lies and the deception and the deceits. This is going to kill the parts that no longer serve you. But are you holding on to those parts? Are you holding on to those lies because it's comfortable and it's what you've been used to? God is going to be stamping these things out. It is best to just go ahead and get the shit out of the way so you can move forward. Instead of wasting all your time and energy scurrying and trying to find another hiding spot. It's just best to go ahead and be like, God, bring the boot, stamp out the lies and the deception so I can move forward. And I can live my spiritual purpose and move forward in a powerful way and do the thing that you sent me here, that I came here to do, which is ultimately to uplift the vibration of this planet, have fun, revel in the beauty of this world, the miracle of life, and to share this with those around you. Let's get into the cards, shall we? I hope y'all like my metaphors. All right. Let's see what we got for today. We have the Six of Swords in reverse. Yeah, if you're trying to go somewhere right now, if you're trying to go somewhere, if you feel like out there is where the promised land is, if you feel like the grass is greener on the other side, then the swords are going to be far deeper in this boat than you realize, and it's going to sink your boat. All right. It's not something that's out there. You don't have to go out there. If you're angsty and you're apprehensive and you're just like, I just want something to change, maybe I should just go way over there instead. This is not a time to get cold feet. Like I said, this is the hiding places are like you're trying to run away and escape because the couch is being lifted and stuff like that. It's better to just stay where you are. It's better to just stay where you are. Ooh, we have the Three of Swords. There's definitely an element today where we may experience some heartbreak when it comes to like a belief. Maybe we realize that we didn't believe in ourselves enough. Maybe we realize that we've been lied to, deceived, and it can suck because maybe we put a lot of energy into these things. Maybe we allowed a lot of relationships to crash because of our beliefs. And then we realize that that wasn't the important part. So many people have strained relationships because of the toxic political nature of the last 4 to 6 to 8 years, really. When really, these people in these positions, they're all working together. There maybe is I think lately you've seen like maybe a few here and there that are trying to come in and change the system from within, but it's tough. It is tough. It's like they're trying to be the medicine, but then the medicine gets taken over by the machine and the host. And then they end up selling out. But the vast majority of these individuals, I'm talking like politically, the vast majority of these people are working together. They're just they're just choosing which roles to play. So the fact that they're working together behind the scenes, and a lot of people know it, we joke about a lot of different things, but we just turn a blind eye to it. We just don't care. Well, we should start caring because we've allowed these things to kill certain relationships that didn't need to be killed. Especially when we're coming into a time where we need each other more than ever. Bottom of the deck, we have the Tower card. The Tower card with the Three of Swords and the Six of Swords in reverse. It may be a tough day for your beliefs because things may start to come crashing down. And you're going to realize that you've been lied to and you've been deceived. Just based off of the nature of this, I'm going to cut the deck. Well, we do have the Page of Pentacles as well. So it's interesting how I got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse yesterday. Now I have the Page of Pentacles. In many ways, we kind of have to go back to basics. We have to kind of go back to, it's like, okay, what do I value? And just start there. When you go back to what is it that you value? What is it you really value? And you start there, that's how you make it through an interview like today. Because it's going to feel intense just because of this mutable T-square and all these things that are on the edge. And then as soon as the moon comes into Capricorn, yeah, it's a sextile to Saturn, but it's going to be like, okay, yeah, well, there are solutions here, but are you willing to put in some of the hard work? Teamwork makes the dream work. You know what I mean? So it's like, if there's a dream that you have, like my dream is that, maybe I'm a little bit naive, but I think humanity can unite and actually uplift and, achieve a level of peace, right? That is not going to come without hard work. It's not going to come, and it's not necessarily even going to come with everything just always being super kumbaya, holding hands and singing spirituals. It's going to be a war, right? I'm not naive. I'm a little naive, but I'm not that naive. This card fell down, so that's what we're going to go with. Ooh, full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. Yeah, don't be too prideful with all this. Don't be too prideful with all this. This is about humbling ourselves to the boot of God that's coming and is trying to stamp out the lies and the deceit and the deception so that truth is what remains. So that truth is what remains, and you can live within your divine royalty, which was always your birthright. So don't let your pride get in the way today. Don't let it get in the way from you making connections. Don't let it get in the way of It's like you just felt like you have to be right. You know what I mean? You just have to be right. You just have to be right. Well, holding on to that is hurting you more than realizing and acknowledging that, okay, I was wrong. I was wrong about that thing. When you can finally let go and let God, then you can move forward in your true power. That is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Hopefully, it assists you on this day, and hopefully, you guys can be inspired and motivated to become your greatest versions so we may all come together and really achieve peace on this planet. But y'all take care, stay blessed. If y'all like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. Use promo code Equinox to get 30% off your orders and your readings. And I will see you guys for the weekend astrology forecast. Y'all take care. Peace.